brooder, and this one we built on farm with all milled lumber from the farm. And the one thing that we did was, the biggest thing in brooder is going to be vermin and mice and rats is going to be your biggest predation in a brooder. And what we did on this, in this case, is you have to come up with ways to protect the chicks from that, burrowing up through the bedding and capturing the chicks and dragging them back down through. So in this case, we actually created and built basically a concrete bathtub and built a concrete floor and 18-inch concrete walls so that the rats had to get up out of the ground to get in, and then they don't do that, and they're very vulnerable to predation or containment. The brooder is broken into several sections so that we have no more than 1,000 birds in each section, and that takes the stress and the pressure off of each bird. We use propane heating at this point, mainly because it works without power, and when you're dealing with baby chicks, if for some reason the power were to go out, they end up in your house, and so it's a lot better. Your propane just keeps on burning, and then as long as you fill the tank, you're good to go. So whatever type of power source you want to use or energy source, but running it without power is a great option if you can create that, and we use the propane heaters as well. Deep bedding, again, we don't clean out the bedding in between, and we just let it build up, and all of our hovers, the burners there that come up, and these nipple drinkers can just raise as the bedding gets deeper and deeper. It's about 12 to 18 inches at the end of the season, all composting with sawdust. If you use anything thicker than sawdust, it cakes, because these chicks are really small. So it's important that they be able to turn the bedding as they can. There's just another shot of the feeders, other secondary waterers to make sure they have enough access. The biggest thing when you have broilers like this is that they have enough access to feed, water, grit, and heat. And because as soon as one gets pushed back, they're not going to be real strong to push in there, and the weak ones get rooted back really quickly. So it's important that we have plenty of access and feeder space. They say about 1 inch, I think it's 1 inch of feeder space to like 5 birds as you figure it up. So you figure their feeder space has got side on both sides, you can add it all up. Here's another example of a brooder that we built. It's on wheels, it's on trailer. We're all about portability. And again, this is another way to keep things up off the ground so that your vermin's not tunneling up underneath it. It's way up off the ground. And these are small little huts with 1 hover a piece, big enough for about 300 chicks each. Build it for just a couple $100, and you're up and running. And we'll talk a little bit more this afternoon about portability and how important that is in a farming setting that on land that might not be yours. And so this case here, if you're on a rented piece of ground or something like that, things change or you find a better opportunity, you can hook up to that thing with a truck or trailer, and you're off, you're running down the road and move the propane tank to the new spot, and you're ready to go. Same thing here. This is a portable brooder on a trailer, and just put a mobile home axle underneath it, and it's about 6 feet tall at the top there, and slopes down to about 4 feet, and big enough for about 600 birds, divided into multiple sections again, and that's the shot of it from the inside. But again, hook up to it, pull it down the road, completely portable. The chicks stay in the brooder for 3 weeks, and between either side of their 3-week birthday, we load them up into crates, and about 45 to a crate, and take them out to the field and put them 75 birds to a pen. Yeah, this is for some of you that raise pasture poultry, this is old hat, but if you've never heard this before, this is to be revolutionary. This is the pastured poultry that we have, and we raise thousands and thousands of these on the farm each year. Drop them into the portable pens. These are 10 by 12, 2-foot high portable pens. They have no floor. They are 3/4 covered with aluminum roofing on the top to protect them from rain and weather, and they are completely covered on the sides, or half is covered on the sides with aluminum roofing, except for in the peak of the heat of summer, which you can see the back is pulled off. We just have one piece of roofing that goes on the back with 4 screws, and by the time summer rolls around about June, you just go out there, ding, 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 pop off the screws, and there's the back open for ventilation. Because if we had that off in the spring, it'd be too cold. And in the fall, about now, it'd be getting too cold. So we put them back on in the fall and keep them on for spring. There's just a shot of the cows preparing. You can see the cows in the foreground where they're preparing the place for the chickens to follow, because chickens like protein. and they like shorter grass. So the cows eat the tall grass, the grass regrows, and now it's shorter and it's perfect for the chickens. So you can see the chickens like about 3 to 6 inch tall grass, or 3 to 5 inch tall grass, and so you can see that's kind of the level there to do that. To move the pen, we have a portable dolly so that you don't have to build a movable system for each pen. We put the dolly under one side and just lever it under with like a fulcrum, just push it right under the side, picks the pin up just a couple inches, go around to the other side and pull it forward. And the chickens just walk along those 12 feet from one spot to the next. And then you pull it out and you can go to the next. It takes about 1 minute per pin, and so we had about 60 of these going this summer, and it takes one person about an hour to move all of them. You just go right down the line moving them all. This is just another location where the grass is getting pretty good length to it, and it begins difficult to drag the pins through. And it's also another example of where the grass is not really high quality, and you put this kind of fertility down and it changes it over to a rich legume species very quickly, and it grows back really quick. So you can see the bottom slide is about where the chickens leave it from one day. So they're moved every single day so that they don't impact the area too much and leave too much nitrogen on one spot. That's what they look like after about 5 weeks outside. So they're a total age of 8 weeks. You saw the birds, some of you saw the birds being processed this morning. We're 7.5. Those are virtually the same size or slightly larger. And when you put 75 birds to a pen, when you first drop them in there at 5 weeks, it looks like there's hardly any in there, but at 8 weeks, they're totally full. At this point, we use the Bell drinkers. These are what the industry is discarding at this point. So if you stay one step behind the industry, you can pick up a lot of this stuff for a little bit cheaper. Our county supplies more poultry. It's like the second producing county of poultry in the states. And so we have a lot of poultry in our area, and we get them used. We just drill a hole in a 5-gallon bucket, slice the hose at an angle, warm it up on a hot day or in front of the fire in the wintertime or whatever, and slide it right in that hole. That creates the seal, lasts for years. The water, again, is tied right in the same water that the cows are drinking. We use just a full flow tank there to fill it, and then bucket the water over to the pens so they have fresh water every day. There's the feed. We feed sometimes in the evening as the birds get larger and need more feed than the one feeder can hold. Now we'll move to turkeys. I'm going to try to cover as many of the different species as we can. So the turkeys get